This program is brought to you by Grand Valley State University.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure and an honor to be speaking on behalf of Cascade Engineering and to be back in West Michigan, my hometown where I grew up, and to be back has been wonderful. And I think West Michigan really has an opportunity to be a leader of the country, to be known as a sustainability capital. And sustainability as a term and a concept is gaining momentum. There's a Dow Jones Sustainability Index. There are sustainability consultants. Sustainability seems to be everywhere you turn today. And for our region, it's something that's, the concept is not new. The concept of stewardship, of looking with a wider lens, of being part of the bigger picture, this isn't new for our region. President Haas talked about looking at the world from the eyes of a 2-year-old, of really widening our lens. And to me, sustainability is about expanding your scope. It's about looking at the long-term view. It's rejecting looking at next quarter's returns, what we're going to make right now, what's happening today, and looking at beyond that, what is my impact on the triple bottom line? What's my impact on the long-term vision? And I think that if we take this larger view and we look at the bigger picture, we look at the fact that our population is growing dramatically. We have, as a population, for a couple thousand years, we're under 1 billion people. And in the last 50 years, the world population growth has begun to climb exponentially, and it's projected to continue to grow further. We also have consumption, which is growing dramatically, as countries such as China desire to consume to U.S. standards. Everyone wants a new car, a new television, a new product. The consumption is going to explode beyond our control. And what we really have is we have a funnel. And many of you may know this. Our natural resources are limited. They're not going to be there forever. And as we take away from natural resources that are limited, we're declining our natural resources, and we're also increasing our consumption. And that increase in consumption isn't happening very incrementally, it's happening exponentially, because what's happening is population is being multiplied by affluence, which is being multiplied by technology. We're able, as the US, to consume 25% of the world's resources with 4% of the population. Can you imagine a world if everybody consumed to US standards? We basically need to stop looking at the short-term picture and start looking at the long-term picture of understand where we are and how that fits into the long-term picture. And this is not a new idea. We have the United Nations Brundtland Report of Sustainable Development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The people who already have spoken about that in terms of we need to look to the future. We need to look to the next generation and understand how we can not compromise our future generations by just meeting the needs of us today. And even before that, when we talk about what Grand Rapids was in the past, we have a quote from a Native American saying, "We didn't inherit the earth from our parents, we're borrowing it from our children." So this is not a new idea. And the idea is, let's take this funnel, the decrease of water, arable land, climatic stability, forest cover, and the increase of consumption with the population, the affluence, the technology, and let's maybe take that technology or some of those other aspects and reverse that so that we're not depleting our resources. And we can determine how to create this middle section, the sustainable society, and maybe even look to restore and grow. And as we mentioned, that we don't have the luxury anymore to ignore this. We have to do this. And so as we look at the big picture and understand how we do this, how we slow consumption and we multipliers, and we increase our ability to interact with the resources, we think about some examples. These are all very conceptual. This is all a great idea. We'd all love to look at the long term, but how do we get there, and how do we do that? One example is from Herman Miller. We talked a little bit about the furniture industry here in West Michigan as being a great asset. And some of the things that they have done is set sustainability goals. And similar to the mayor's goal of 100% renewable energy, they had a REACH goal, a goal of 0 landfill. That's not, let's reduce our waste to landfill. Let's incrementally reduce what we're doing right now. They're thinking of the big picture and thinking of, to be sustainable, we have to think about ways to get to 0 landfill. They're setting a sustainability goal, and it drives innovation. And the concept is, if you set those goals and you think outside of incremental better, and you think about how I can change the systems, you come up with innovative ideas, like an energy center to burn waste and generate electricity. That's something where now you're taking energy that you need to create and getting it from something that you need to get rid of. And so you're able to think about the big picture, think about larger opportunities. Another example is a waste powder paint. So they have a waste powder paint that used to be thrown away. And when you think about, how do I get rid of this waste, they repurposed it to use it on the inside of cabinets. And that's their ironstone. So the concept of, now you're helping in 2 areas. You're having less go to your landfill, but it's also, you have to purchase less virgin material because you have a source. So it's these types of REACH goals and thinking that if you put those out there, you will drive innovation, and you'll think of new and innovative ways to accomplish those goals. In terms of the sustainability goal, the REACH goal of 100% renewable energy. That goes beyond just generating energy, and also looking at your energy use. How can we reduce our energy use so that when we do generate renewable energy, there's less that we need to generate because we've reduced our energy use. And that ends up increasing your ROI. Also, for the sustainability goal, they had a goal of 0 footprint for 2020, which is no landfill, no processed water, no air emissions, no hazardous waste, 100% renewable energy, and they're tracking to try to accomplish those goals. So that type of REACH goal that forces you to rethink saves you money, reduces the impact, and helps establish you as a leader in sustainability. Another example is Steelcase. We have the chair designed for the environment. It's another example of taking an idea, a concept of, we want a chair that can be disassemblable in 5 minutes, 99% recyclable, and oh, by the way, that becomes one of the top selling chairs. These types of sustainability actions of taking these goals leads to opportunities. It leads to the ability to have a chair that now can be recycled and disassembled, and now it makes it easier for the end user to have that chair and to desire that. So companies kind of leading the way. Another one is fabric with no negative impact for the manufacturer, use, and disposal. Looking at the first compostable fabric. It's an innovative idea that comes out of a desire to make a positive change. So customers will often desire a more sustainable product. So focusing on sustainability will drive your innovation as well as your sales in some cases. Another framework that I like to think about is the opportunity and necessity. We call this the numerator strategies and the denominator strategies. When you focus on a goal, you can either have your goal be a numerator strategy or your goal be a denominator strategy. A denominator strategy, an example of that would be reducing your impacts. So like in the Herman Miller case where they're focusing on reducing their waste to landfill. That's a focus on a denominator strategy. You're reducing your impacts. Or with the steel case example, you're looking at a growth in benefits. So you're looking at, I want to get into compostable fabrics or something that is a disassemblable chair, something that is an area of interest that will innovate a new area for a new product line. At Cascade Engineering, we have taken both products, or both sides, both the numerator and the denominator, and one of the ways that we're doing the denominator is by making a goal of reducing waste to landfill and then measuring those impacts. So it's about having a goal, and it's about having metrics to get to that goal. You can see from our statistics that in 2002 we had $268,000 per year going to the landfill. And we, through a concerted effort and through tracking that in our annual triple bottom line report, we were able to bring that down to $16,000 in 2008. And some people may say, okay, well, that's good. What are you going to do next year? We brought it down again to $8,000 in 2009. And this is not as a result of declining sales. And in fact, there was a growth during that time, but we had a concerted effort. We had people on campus that called themselves the Recycle Warriors, and went to different programs and tried to get an awareness within the organization because there was this goal. And there was an effort, and there was metrics to measure it, so it propelled the goal even further because they were excited to see that reduction. Another example is automotive and truck. We have looked at lightweighting, so reducing the amount of materials that need to go into acoustic panels. We have some sophisticated decibel machines where you can determine basically where is the most important parts of the product to reinforce, so that you can keep the same dampening properties while kind of increasing your decreasing your use. So basically, we've decreased the amount of resin that's needed for these products while keeping the same amount of acoustical dampening. And similar in heavy truck industry, we've looked at products that were formerly steel or compression molded, very heavy products, looking at lightening those, so increasing the fuel efficiency of the car. And then some other sustainability goals that are denominator strategies, making it less bad, is about increasing our recycled content. We have a bit of a trade-off because increased recycled content can compromise the long-term durability of the product. And since we have products that we want to be out there for 20, 30 years, we have to ensure that they are strong. And so our EcoCart, what we did was we co-injected the external part of the product, having the virgin material to keep the strength, and blew more recycled content in between the fibers, so that we were able to have the same amount of strength and durability, but increased our recycled content. And it's those types of innovations that come from a sustainability goal. Another one that we have is our LEED certified headquarters. It came from a goal of making our headquarters out of a LEED certified. We got existing building platinum, which was a pretty high standard. And what we found was that it was 10% more upfront, but it paid back not only the extra 10%, but the whole building over the course of the next few years. So that's the concept of the long-term view, of looking at something that maybe is 10% more now, but is going to save you not only that 10%, but the whole building over time. We've talked a bit about reducing, about the denominator strategies, about becoming less bad in both our processes and our products. The other side of that is about seeking out opportunities. So looking at how can we get into an area where it's interesting to be in that area because it's going to necessarily do something sustainable. Fred had some vision in the past that renewable energy is an interesting area to go into because oil prices are rising. There's all sorts of reasons why our energy consumption is growing and unsustainable, and that renewable energy is going to be a part of the future. And so he began into it, not necessarily knowing where he was going. We started in large wind, and there wasn't really much of a fit with plastic injection molding and large wind. So we as we were in that sector, we found the Swift wind turbine, which was a rotor. This rotor section could be plastic injection molded. So we were able to go into the space, not necessarily knowing where we were going, but finding something that we could use our expertise to really build and grow. We helped them take weight and increase the structural support of their rotor, and we were able to increase the use of the Swiss wind turbine, and that led to an opportunity in Lowe's. We are now selling the wind turbines in Lowe's in California, and they're rolling it out to a number of other states in near term. And so it's that goal reaching and then following that goal that leads you to opportunities. And being in that space, we knew about Consumers Energy having an incentive program, and we were able to get together with some other local groups. We helped Padnos, connected them with the Consumers Energy, and we connected them also with a solar supplier. We didn't actually create the solar panels, but we became a solar integrator. With our expertise now that we had from putting the wind turbines up on houses, we had electrical expertise internally. We knew more about how to integrate the solar panels and do this installation, which is now one of the largest solar installations in the state, and we have 2 or more that we're going to be doing in the future. So when we talk about opportunities and sustainability, part of that is about setting a goal and figuring out where you want to go, and then traveling down that path, not necessarily knowing exactly where you're going. Another thing that it led to was an energy efficiency website, and our chooserenewables.com came from the concept of, people don't know necessarily about renewable energy. It's not easy to figure out what are the renewable energy products that I can use in my house, and so we had a goal of helping people understand how to become more sustainable at a home level. And we didn't actually create many of the products that were in here. We just found the best ones. We tested them. We said, well, that product works pretty well. Let's put that one on the site. And what we were able to do is say, reduce your energy and then potentially generate energy. And we also created a web-based application where you can put in your home address and find out if wind or solar is better for your site based on NREL data and other statistics. So keeping into that space, it led to other opportunities, and now we have a good amount of traffic that comes through on our Choose Renewables website, and we're able to offer some of our other products on that as well. The other example is on the side of social capital. Cascade has had a long-term commitment to social capital, building social capital, and having a commitment to being a player in the community. We had a welfare to career program, and what came out of that was so much more than what went in terms of, it was a wonderfully successful program, but what it led to within our organization was a promotion program for people on the floor that made sense, that kept people engaged, that allowed people to grow throughout the organization with a goal in mind and with metrics to track against. We increased transportation and childcare availability for people on campus, and we were able to increase our diversity programming, and we became an employer of choice. And as part of becoming an employer of choice, we have Quest Sustainable Solutions, which now goes out and shares our model with other companies in the private sector on how you too can become an employer of choice. So it's that concept of basically taking something good and making it good business. So opportunities begin to come to you when you're in the sustainability space. Some of the opportunities that came to us was the Good Bin lunchbox. It was a mother in Seattle who was spending $400 or more on plastic bags, paper bags, came up with an idea. Let's do something that will be easy and fun for my children. She had 4 children to go to school and have a lunchbox that they can use for a lot of their childhood, and they can just wash that out and reuse it. So she came to us as a manufacturer, a US-based manufacturer. She knew of our sustainability commitment and was interested in bringing this opportunity. Another one is the Hydrate Biosand water filter, which I've had the joy of relaunching over the past few months, and that came to us as an opportunity to help people in developing countries gain access to safe water. There's 2.2 million people dying every year around the world from a lack of access to safe water. And we now have the capacity at Cascade Engineering to manufacture 250,000 filters a year, which affects 8 to 10 people per filter. We could effectively solve a world problem right here in West Michigan with products and technologies that we have that came to us because of our commitment to sustainability. So if you focus on sustainability, either a numerator or a denominator strategy, it can lead you to surprisingly positive results. You start with something good and you make it good business. And the case for a sustainable region is that growth drives our economy, innovation drives growth, and sustainability, as you've seen previously, drives innovation. Sustainability also provides stability. It allows for a diversified strategy, as well as looking to the future, to areas that we know will be around because they solve a problem that's going to be around. It also attracts talent. When I was looking at where to move, I was living in New York City, looking at San Francisco and Grand Rapids. I had some pull for here because my family was here, but I did put them head to head in terms of, what are they doing in terms of sustainability? If I go home, will there be no sustainability opportunities? And what I found was that there really were opportunities here, that people really did care about sustainability, and I was interested in coming back, and I think that others will be interested in coming back to a region if we have a commitment to sustainability. So a sustainable region would attract talent, business opportunities, and help drive economic growth. And I think we do have some great assets here in West Michigan. We have our good old West Michigan ethics and values, and we have a lot of family businesses, which I think have the ability to think long term. Many private sector industries have to make next quarter returns because of the stock market, because they have pressures from investors on maximizing your financial return. Family businesses are allowed to think generationally. They're allowed to think with a larger scope, with a triple bottom line, and we have a lot of those in West Michigan. We have, as we spoke about, LEED certified buildings, and we have regional thinking starting already with the West Michigan Strategic Alliance and some others. Also, we have the office furniture industry and other industries that are leading the way in sustainability. So what can we do as a region? I think that it takes all different sectors. It takes education, it takes policy, and it takes the private sector. We need to support programs that help make a workforce ready to have sustainability in the workforce. Programs like Grand Valley State's universities, as well as Aquinas and Grand Rapids Community College, other programs that are emerging in the sustainability area. Also looking at regional sustainability incentive programs, renewable energy incentives, and attracting sustainable businesses to the area, as well as supporting our own sustainable businesses that we have right here. So what can you do? I think it's about thinking long term, focusing on sustainability as your goal, and then leading by example, making sustainability a priority, and measuring and rewarding your progress against that priority. And embedding sustainability in our culture, supporting each other. We have a number of actions And actions lead to habits. And habits lead to behaviors. And behaviors lead to cultures. So we need to progress along that continuum from actions in the area of sustainability to habits, behaviors, and create a culture. Because we have an opportunity to drive growth for the region if we focus on sustainability, act, and support each other.
We have some time for questions to the mayor and Christina Keller, if you have any questions at this point.
Yes.
Let's start out with the first one, I guess. Christina, I have a question for you as far as the Platinum LEED building that your headquarters is in. And I know you've analyzed the economic benefits of the building. Have you looked at the health benefits of the building? Have you analyzed whether there's actually been a reduction in sick days, thereby increasing the productivity?
We should repeat the question,
Yeah,
I think. So.
the question was about the LEED certified building and if we've looked at the health benefits. And we have noted a reduction in absenteeism. I don't know if we've overlaid absenteeism with sick days. Maybe people just didn't like where they worked, but typically the absenteeism is because of the sick days. So we have seen a reduction in that, as well as I think there's a general sense of wellness. Our Working on Wellness program started soon after we made that building, so it could have been one of the drivers of why we had this Working on Wellness program, which now is going throughout the campus and working on how you can have more healthy habits.
May I just add a note to that? The Grand Rapids Public Schools is involved in the Lead for Schools initiative. And there's been a lot of work done around in the educational field about the places, the healthy places where we learn. And so, 9 of the last 10 schools that the GRPS either remodeled or built from scratch are LEED certified. Other questions? Yes, sir.
As far as the colleges that you listed here, there's a lot of other colleges in this community. Are they involved in the sustainability also?
I think so. Those were the examples that I had right at mind because of the Aquinas Sustainability Program and the Grand Rapids Community Colleges program that they have for renewable energy maintenance. Those were just 2 examples that stuck in my head, as well as all the great work that Grand Valley State has been doing. But it takes a group of colleges, and I hope there's lots of other things going on. I just don't know. So.
I can add that Calvin College has been working, especially in the area of engineering for renewable energy, and has good sustainability programs underway. As does Cornerstone University, has been another part of our little network here of higher education institutions working in this area. Norman, any others that you would? Western Michigan as well. Other questions?
Christina, you mentioned the relaunch of the Biosand filter. Could you talk a little bit more about that business and why the challenges in the first launch and what you're doing in the second launch?
And the Hydrate Biosand water filter was originally designed in cement by a Canadian inventor, David Manns. And he came to Cascade together with a group of other people about 3 years ago, and we designed it out of plastic. So we've been making it out of plastic for over 3 years, and we were originally selling it to a nonprofit organization in Western Michigan, International Aid, and they fell upon hard times in August, and the project was suspended basically for a few months until we decided that we wanted this to go forward. Let's continue this good work, and let's find some funding and get this to go because we have such a great opportunity here. So I think that it's got a lot of opportunity, and we're now taking that kind of in-house and trying to really grow the opportunity with a number of partnerships with other nonprofit organizations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Grand Valley State University. Visit us at gvsu.edu.